summit between Presidents Lee Jae-myung and Donald Trump is just a day away, but a trade deal appears unlikely before the meeting, as major sticking points remain unresolved. North Korea's top diplomat met Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow, ahead of U.S. President Donald Trump's visit to South Korea. Trump says he would love to meet North Korean leader Kim Jong-un during his Asia trip, and even suggested the idea of adjusting sanctions against the regime. Ahead of the APEC leaders' meeting set to take place this week in Gyeongju, Global Green Growth Week kicked off in the city, bringing together policymakers, experts, and young people from around 100 different countries. Hello and thanks for joining us on Arirang News. We begin with trade talks between South Korea and the United States. Presidents Lee Jae-myung and Donald Trump are scheduled to meet tomorrow, and eyes are now on whether the two sides will agree to lower U.S. tariffs on Korean goods. But it's unclear whether they will be able to reach a deal soon, as details of a $350 billion investment package are still reportedly being negotiated. Our Kim Do-yeon starts us off.
On Monday, aboard Air Force One during his ongoing Asia tour, U.S. President Donald Trump and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent were asked whether the trade deal with South Korea could fall apart.
No, I don't think so, Scott, is it?
No, there are just a lot of details to work out. It's a very complicated deal, and I think we're very close.
But when asked whether it could be done by Wednesday when President Lee Jae-myung and President Trump meet in Gyeongju, he said that is not likely.
I think not quite, but I think the overall framework is done. We're just getting crossing the T's, dotting the I's.
Trump has been saying a deal is close for some time, and there was some hope that an agreement could be made to coincide with a meeting between President Lee and President Trump at APEC. Before departing for Asia a few days earlier, Trump had said, "If South Korea is ready, I am ready." However, a tug-of-war is still underway between the two sides regarding the methods and timeline for South Korea's $350 billion investment in the U.S. Trump was also asked whether South Korea had asked to extend visa quotas as part of the trade deal following the ICE raid in Hyundai's plant in Georgia in September.
No, but you know how I feel. I was very much opposed. Look, when they come in and they're making very complex machinery, equipment, things, they're going to have to bring some people in at least at the initial phase. In that case, it was batteries. You can't just pick people off an unemployment line and say, we just, opened up a $2 billion battery factory. They'll teach our people how to do it.
The U.S. president added that such measures would take time, but that's the way it is. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
Over in Russia, President Vladimir Putin met North Korean Foreign Minister Choi Sun-hee in Moscow, ahead of U.S. President Donald Trump's arrival in South Korea this week. Meanwhile, Trump said he would love to meet North Korean leader Kim Jong-un during his Asia trip, and when asked what Washington could offer Kim, the U.S. leader floated the idea of adjusting sanctions against the regime. Our Lee Seung-jae has the details.
Russian President Vladimir Putin met North Korean Foreign Minister Choi Sun-hee at the Kremlin on Monday.
Здравствуйте. Очень рада вас видеть. Взаимно. Благодарна за то, что...
During the meeting, the Russian leader also stressed that relations between the two countries are developing according to plan. According to Russian media, Putin recalled his recent discussions with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, including their last meeting in Beijing, and said the two sides talked in detail about the development of bilateral ties. He added that everything is going according to plan in the best possible way, signaling Moscow's continued effort to deepen cooperation with Pyongyang amid growing international scrutiny. Che began her three-day visit to Moscow on Sunday as part of a two-nation trip that also includes Belarus. Her visit comes at a time of heightened diplomatic activity in the region as South Korea hosts the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit this week. The timing has drawn attention, with speculation over whether another meeting between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and U.S. President Donald Trump could take place on the Korean Peninsula. Speaking to reporters aboard his presidential plane en route to Japan on Monday, President Trump said he would love to meet Kim during his Asia trip, even suggesting he could extend his stay if necessary.
I haven't mentioned it, I haven't said anything, but I'd love to meet with him if he'd like to meet. I got along great with Kim Jong-un. I liked him, he liked me. If he wants to meet, I'll be in South Korea.
Trump and Kim met 3 times during Trump's first term, first in Singapore in June 2018, then in Hanoi in February 2019, and finally at the inter-Korean border village of Panmunjom in June 2019. As diplomatic signals intensify once again, attention is now turning to whether a new chapter in U.S.-North Korea relations might unfold alongside Moscow's renewed engagement with Pyongyang. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
And during APEC week, other international forums are also taking place, reinforcing the main agendas to be discussed in Gyeongju by global leaders. The Global Green Growth Week highlights sustainability, innovation, and future generations. Our Oh Soo-young tells us more.
Joint efforts for a sustainable future are gaining momentum ahead of the APEC forum in Korea this week. As regional economies prepare to discuss how AI and innovation can be harnessed for the next stage of growth, Global Green Growth Week kicked off on Monday, convening policymakers, experts, firms, and young people from around 100 countries. This year's sessions, held in Seoul and Gyeongju, coincide with APEC in both timing and significance, with over 2,000 people expected to take part online and in person.
Major themes range from sustainable artificial intelligence and innovation to green finance and carbon markets, all aligned with APEC's theme of building a sustainable future.
The 5-day event began with a focus on youth participation and innovation, with former United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon bringing generations together in climate leadership.
We're the future generation of this world, and it's important that we learn about the climate crisis and we can know how to take it on and how to battle this challenge sustainably.
Organised by the Global Green Growth Institute, the week will notably feature a high-level roundtable between the region's climate ambassadors, and an event on Wednesday will commemorate the 10th anniversary of the Paris Climate Agreement reached in 2015 by 196 nations. Since its founding in 2012, GGGI has supported dozens of partner countries in developing renewable energy strategies, carbon pricing systems, and green finance plans to support their long-term sustainable development.
And since 2018, we have been supporting the government of Burkina Faso into its transition towards a green economy. It means supporting the development or the upgrading of policies, better integrating the principle of green growth. But it's also about mobilizing resources, financial resources needed to implement these policies and strategies.
It's a particular challenge in an era of dwindling development assistance budgets. During the week, GGGI will sign 12 new memoranda of understanding with investors, local governments, and philanthropic organizations to expand cooperation on green finance and carbon markets.
I believe that despite all the conflicts among countries and the policy leaders as well, it's really important to remember that climate changes are part of the life of all people around the world.
Exploring solutions through dialogue and forging stronger partnerships, Global Green Growth Week promotes collective action at a time when multilateralism is much needed. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.
With APEC 2025 Korea just around the corner, Gyeongju is once again in the spotlight, this time for its royal treasures. A rare exhibition brings all 6 gold crowns back to Silla Kingdom for the first time. Our Park Hyo-bin has a story.
The host city of APEC 2025 Korea, Gyeongju, was once the center of the ancient Silla Kingdom known as the Land of Gold. Among its many gold treasures, the crown was the most important symbol of royal power and craftsmanship. So far, 6 Silla gold crowns have been discovered. And now, for the first time, all 6 are displayed together at the Gyeongju National Museum along with other royal ornaments to celebrate APEC 2025 Korea. The crowns, believed to have been made between the 5th and 6th centuries, have branches shaped like deer antlers symbolizing life and vitality. It is also believed that the king, as wearer of the crown, was a sacred being connected to the heavens. Shila's crowns are special because they make up more than half of all ancient gold crowns ever found in the world. No other kingdom has left behind so many golden relics in such good condition.
The Shilla gold crown symbolizes the height of royal power and artistry, standing as one of the most exquisite ancient treasures in the world. Seeing all 6 together captures the true glory of the land of gold.
The museum also says the exhibition will help visitors discover the beauty and spirit of Shilla art.
No kingdom other than Shilla has left behind such unique cultural treasures as these gold crowns. We thought this would be the perfect theme to celebrate both APEC and the museum's 80th anniversary.
More than a showcase of artifacts, it's a journey through the artistry and legacy that defined ancient Shilla. The exhibition runs until December 14th, drawing worldwide attention to the legacy of the Shilla period. Park Hyo-bin, Arirang News, Gyeongju.
South Korea's economy grew 1.2% in the third quarter compared to the quarter before. Now that's according to an advanced estimate from the Bank of Korea on Tuesday, which attributed the growth to recovering private consumption and steady exports. Private consumption grew 1.3%, driven by spending on goods like motor vehicles and services, including restaurants. Exports increased by 1.5%, led by semiconductors and autos. However, construction investment shrank by 0.1%, primarily due to the continued decline in the industry. Real gross domestic income, or GDI, which reflects trade-adjusted income, also increased by 0.7%. The third quarter GDP growth is the biggest on-quarter growth since the first quarter of last year. And South Korea's state-run power company KEPCO has won a major renewable energy contract in Saudi Arabia. According to Saudi Arabia's state news agency SPA, the Saudi Power Procurement Company awarded 5 new solar and wind projects, totaling 4,500 megawatts and worth almost $2.54 billion. KEPCO, together with Saudi renewable firm NESMA, will lead the 1,500 megawatt Dawatmi wind power project near Riyadh. Other contracts went to major global players such as Masdar from the UAE and France EDF and Total Energies. In other news, 2 men in their 20s have been sentenced to prison for taking part in a large-scale stock investment scam in Cambodia. The Cheonan branch of Daejeon District Court on Tuesday handed each of them prison terms of 5 years and 6 months for joining a criminal organization known as K9, which lured victims through fake stock recommendation chat rooms. After entering Cambodia via Vietnam, the 2 worked as managers and translators, helping Chinese ringleaders target Korean investors. They deceived 25 victims out of more than 3.1 billion Korean won, or around $2.1 million, by promising returns of up to 300%.
This is The World Now, bringing you the latest stories from around the globe. In his first visit to Japan since returning to office, U.S. President Donald Trump met Japan's Emperor Naruhito. The two met at the Imperial Palace in Tokyo on Monday and exchanged views on global conflicts and peace, with Trump expressing hope to strengthen U.S.-Japan relations. Emperor Naruhito said he was pained by ongoing conflicts worldwide and prayed for peace. While in Japan, Trump will meet new Prime Minister Takaichi for their first bilateral summit, expected to focus on trade, defense, and rare earth cooperation. The talks come as Japan pledges to expand defense spending and invest heavily in U.S. technology and energy sectors. Trump's visit highlights Washington's efforts to reinforce alliances amid growing regional tensions. Aboard Air Force One, U.S. President Donald Trump said on Monday he would, quote, love a third term in office. Speaking to reporters during his Asia tour, Trump dismissed talk of running for vice president in 2028 as a loophole to stay in office, calling it, quote, too cute and not right. Trump said he hadn't really thought about a third term, but boasted that his poll numbers are the best they've ever been. Instead, he said potential successors could include Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, calling them, quote, unstoppable. Under the 22nd Amendment, U.S. presidents are limited to 2 terms, and repealing that rule would require a constitutional change, something experts say is highly unlikely. Trump's remarks come amid speculation from supporters who claim there is already a plan for 2028. In the Caribbean, Hurricane Melissa has strengthened into a Category 5 storm and is closing in on Jamaica with sustained winds of 175 miles per hour and the potential for catastrophic flooding and landslides. Forecasters on Monday said the storm could be the most powerful ever recorded to hit the island, with a 13-foot storm surge expected to hit the capital, Kingston. Authorities have warned of a humanitarian crisis and ordered mandatory evacuations in flood-prone areas, though many residents are refusing to leave. At least 6 people across the Caribbean have already died from the storm. In Los Angeles on Sunday night, Vogue World Hollywood transformed the historic Paramount Studios lot into a live cinematic runway, merging fashion and film in a star-studded charity event. The show had 7 chapters, each celebrating a different film genre, from Afrofuturism to Gothic westerns. Nicole Kidman opened the night with a musical tribute before stars and models walked the outdoor runway, some wearing original movie costumes. All proceeds went to the Entertainment Community Fund, supporting costume professionals affected by recent Los Angeles wildfires. Chu Ji-hyun, Arirang News.
Cold air from the north is sweeping in again today, and it's even colder than yesterday. A cold wave advisory is in place for parts of Gyeongsangbuk-do province. Temperatures have dropped to nearly 10 degrees since this time yesterday. It's a sharp reminder to bundle up in this sudden chill. The cold will start to ease tomorrow afternoon, and by the end of the week, we'll be back to more typical late October weather. But for today, make sure to stay hydrated and stretch a little before heading out. Our bodies are having a hard time adjusting to these sudden changes in weather. The chill will stay throughout the day, with Seoul getting up to 12 degrees Celsius, Daejeon, Daegu both topping out at 15 degrees under sunny skies nationwide today. Then Friday night, another round of rain is expected across the central regions, which could linger through Saturday morning. Take good care of yourself during this sharp change in temperatures.
That's all we have for today's noon edition of Arirang News. Thank you for watching. We'll be back at 5 p.m. Korea time. Stay tuned.